Hi everyone. In this video, we will implement whatever we have learned from the previous slide. The simple linear regression for our numbers where x is 1 to 3 and the labels are 6, 12, 18, right? And we have described the total length by the number m. So m has the total number of examples. So in this case, we have 3 pairs. So we have 3 examples all in. When we plot our x data, like when we plot our x and y coordinates initially, right? So our data looks something like this. 1,6 will be something like this, 1,12 will be like this, 1,18 will be like this, and our goal is to get a prediction function which can overlap these lines, and that will be the good prediction. So let's say we had theta. Initially we had theta. Let's say our initial weight, random weight, was theta, something like this. And if I try to plot a line using our theta, right? So that will look something like this, right? How I came to this line? By our prediction function. Prediction function is x into theta. Whatever x is, you have to multiply it. That will be the theta. So theta is a number, x will be the variable. When we plot this line, so when the theta is true, so it's kind of acting as the slope of this line. So we can see theta 2 will look like. So it is a not good fit. You can see this line is very much far away from the these points, the x points, right? How we can say it is far? Because you can see the distance from this point to this line, this point to this line, this point to this line, right? So the good model will be a good prediction model will be where this line is very closer to each other, and thus the loss will be. How we'll know that this is a good prediction? Mathematically, this is graphically we can see it. Mathematically, we will learn this by the use of loss function, right? Loss function tell us how good our model is, how better it is sticking to this line, right? So we have our loss function over here. As you can see, loss is equal to sum of all the prediction minus actual label square. Why we are using square? As I've told you, modulus doesn't have anything for differentiation. We can't differentiate a modulus, and we wanted to keep things positive, so we use square, and squares can have derivatives. So this is our loss function, so which I have predicted over here, as you can see, right? Okay. So in loss function we had this over here, and in the loss function I've just do the sum, then the np square of the whole thing. So this is the prediction part, 1 into theta, right? If you have, let's say, the theta variable and the example for, so what will the prediction for first example? First example has the value x is the 1 and theta, so 1 into theta over here. Second will be 2 into theta is the value of x, at 2 is 2, at 3 will be 3 into theta, right? So this is our loss function. So when we give this loss function theta, x and y, I'll probably get some result. So I've just tried one instance for that. So our loss function over here has x and y, and the theta is 3. So when theta is 3, our loss is 126, which means model is not doing good. It is not good. A good model, a good theta or a good model will be that where the loss is minimum. Okay. So in this part of code, what I have done, from 2 to 10, I have tried different numbers in this loss function, 3, 4, 2, 3, and plotted against the loss function. So as we can see over here, theta is 2 over here, right? As you can see, theta is 2 over here, right? And the loss came out to be 224 using the same function over here. Over here, if you just input 2, you'll get the loss 224. And when we predicted against the prediction and the x, it will be the 2 theta will look, the function for prediction will look something like this. And when we plot it against loss and theta, so loss, what was the loss? 224 in when the theta is 2. So when theta is 2 over here, loss is 225, right? Similarly did with 3. So 3 prediction function will look something like this, and loss is 126 with the same loss formula, loss function. I got this result from the loss function. And when we plot against theta, so when theta is 3, our loss is 126. So I have done like many times this thing, and like very number over here we have done for theta 4, right? And loss is 56, which is very good. It's decreasing. So the prediction line will be like something like this, and when I plot this theta 4, our value is 56, which I have plotted over here. for 5 over here. So when I does this thing number of time, as we can see at 6, we can see the loss is 0. So we can say the theta is right over here. But this is we were lucky that we were able to find between 2 and 6, right? This theta could be anywhere. For now we were lucky, but most of the time we are not, and so we need a systematic method to find theta. So that is gonna be learned in the next part. So I plotted all those thetas with the loss function, and in the end I get this whole thing, right? Different thetas with the whatever loss we have get. So we got this curve right over here, and this curve we can see at 6 we are getting the least loss, right, at around 0. So 6 is the optimized weight or theta for our model. At this, if I do prediction at this point, I will probably get the best results, right? So yeah, okay. So we have already discussed about this formula, right, in the last video, right, how we came to this conclusion, right, and we just implemented over there to find theta. So over here I'm just doing this x transpose y part over here. On this part I'm doing x transpose into x using np dot to get the multiplication and dot t for transpose, and over here I'm just dividing it. Inverse could be thought of as a division method, right? And basically now let's predict. So let's predict when we have x as 7. So our theta would be 6 into 7, 42, right? So you can think our x data as a housing price data, right? So if you have house of 1 meter square, you will have to pay 6 lakhs. If you have house of like 2 meter square something, you have to pay 12 lakh or 3 or something like that. When you have 7, what you'll pay is 42 lakhs, right? With this method you can say. So this is called normal equation. The method to find theta using this is called normal equation. We already found theta by hit and trial method, but this time we were lucky in this one. So that is not this doesn't work every time, and you can't even plot like a lot of numbers. Okay, so this theta method is called normal equations, and now we will learn about gradient descent, another method to find theta which is better than this one. Okay, so in this one factor I want you to notice this, that let's say our random weight initially was 9 something, right? So if you have a random weight 9 something, our goal is to bring this theta closer to 6. So what function I should subtract to theta that I'll go closer to 6, right? So I have to subtract some number, and where I could find this number or something like this, or maybe you can say let's my random theta was 2 something. So in this 2, what number I should add so that I can reach 6? Our goal is to get this minimum point, right? The 6 point. So what number I should add to theta, that should I go? So our formula could be formulated like this in a loop. If I have this formula, theta is equal to theta minus some function. That function will tell either I have to add it or either I have to subtract it, right? If it is in this side of the on the horizon of theta, like on the 9 side, then you probably have to subtract it. So over there will be a positive function and a positive number in this function, and if I am on the this side of 2, then I have to add something. So here I have to come a negative number, right? On this part I have to come with a negative number. So then negative will plus, and probably I will add theta. So luckily we found that if I am over here, derivative at this point, like steepness or slope at this point, is a positive number, high positive number. So if my theta is 9, if I subtract it with my derivative at this point, I will probably come closer to this part, right guys? If you see steepness, steepness is very high over here. So if my theta is 9, so theta is equal to theta minus differentiation at that point in the loss function. So that differentiation will be let's say 5 or 6. So 9 minus 5, I will probably go over here like closer to 6. Similarly, if you are at 2, you can see the slope and steepness is very negative over here, right? So at 2 there will be a very high negative number over here. So negative will get added up over here, and theta would definitely get incremented, like so. This is the method we called gradient descent. So we're gonna try this equation in a loop, right? In the end you can see, okay, one more thing, I'm multiplying learning rate over here. What this the learning rate means is you don't have to take a bigger step. Like over here the derivative was 9, sorry, the derivative was like 5 or something, so 9 minus 5 will probably put me at 4, but I'm jumping off my minimum point 6, so I have to take smaller step while subtracting. So what I do, I multiply a number like 0.1 or 0.0, which reduces the value of steepness or slope over there. So that way I will not subtract a very larger number from theta. You get it? If I multiply some fraction over here with the steepness or slope at this point, that way I don't have to subtract a very larger number, right? So if I subtract a very larger number from 9, I will probably come 3 or 4 something, then I will jump up this 6. Similarly in this side, if I add a very large number over here, then it probably, instead of going to 6, it will jump up to 8 or something else. So what we have to do, we have to make sure that whatever be the steepness, we have to just use the fraction of that amplitude, fraction of that magnitude to increment or decrement theta. So that's why I will multiply some number 0.0 and something to this value, so that we can minimize the amplitude of this, and theta could decrease slowly and do not jump up this crucial point. If I take big step, like if I decrease bigger number, then probably from 8 I will jump to 4, and then from 4 to jump to 7, but never end up 6. So if I just take small step, there is a high chance that I will reach to this point. And also it is very similar, like if you come and take the derivative at this point, you will probably find very less number, like 0.1 or something like this over here, minus 0. Or this side on 1 or 2 maybe, right? That is pretty small. So once you come closer to this theta, your derivative will be also very nearer to 0. So theta, you won't get away from the optimized theta. Let's say over here the theta was 6 and your differentiation at this point will be 0, because the slope is 0 over here, right? So the 6 minus 0 will be the loop will be always running 6 minus 0 0, so it won't affect you, and you will find the optimized theta over here, right? So I have coded that part over here, you can see. Okay, so we'll ignore this line. Okay, so over here our learning rate is 0.1, so that I can take small step. Let's say randomly I chose theta 9. So over here I'm just taking out the loss function. Res variable means result has the loss variable over here, right? I'm taking result on the basis of theta 9, and the x and y are there. And if you remember from our previous slide, previous video, that differentiation of the loss function, right? If you have to, like, loss function is x square function, right? If you see, this is a square function. So the loss for that point was 2x. 2 will always come forward, right? If you see the loss function from the previous slide, I should pull that thing out. Yeah, so this was the differentiation of the loss function, right? If you can see this guy, so 2 was coming forward, right? Because the square is always differentiated as 2x, and inside that part we were getting this multiply by 1, 2 and 3 over here, that becomes x. So you have to multiply x at the same time, right, to all those values. Okay, so that thing we have implemented over here. So I just found the differentiation at that theta in the loss function, which is stored in the variable div. So again I'm trying to do the update of theta. So theta is equal to theta minus learning rate into differentiation at that point of theta. So over there I'm doing and trying to print theta. So this round function will round my values. So over here in the first value I'm printing theta, second I'm printing the loss, and third learning rate into differentiation, how much steps I'm taking, how much number I'm subtracting. So that will tell. So you can see over here when I had my theta 9, probably I got the differentiation at that point is equal to 0.84. right? So I subtracted from 9 0.84, so I got the value 8.6, and the loss at 8.6 was 126, which is not good. So again we loop into the this for loop will again loop through, and we will again execute this statement. Now we have another theta is being updated over here, right? So now we have a different theta right now, that is 8.6, and when we find the derivative at 8.6, I get 0.6. So now 8.6 subtracted minus 0.6 over here, right? And I'll get, so you can see loss has been decreased in the second time. Also theta is also dropping, and the differentiation with multiplication of learning rate is also decreasing. So this is saying that this what this means at the end. If you can see, we went exactly to 6, and loss also became 0, and the differentiation also became 0. So again we are just in subtracting 0 from 6 from 0, so that is not effective. Why it is? Because this graph you can see over here, this differentiation is pretty small, so whatever we decrease, it is not going to affect the theta, right? So by doing this iteration again and again, we'll end up with a theta where the loss will be very much 0, and the differentiation at that point will be 0, and this will be our best theta. So I'll get the theta value as 6 over here, right? Okay. That was it. So this way we have theta. So if you remember our sklearn function that has this fit function, right? So this fit function was taking x and y. You can also give learning rate over there as a parameter to change things. Sometime a small learning rate works, right? If you have a very small learning rate, then it will take very small step, and this reaching to 6 point, you will need lot of iteration. But if you have a very large learning rate, a bigger number, then it might jump from this minimum point. It from 8 to might go 4, or then to some other number. But if you have just perfect learning rate, you will. So when you remember that fit function from our self-driving car example, or from mobile evaluation, that has fit function, and that fit function was doing the same thing. Okay. So now we got theta over here, and we try to plot theta, which will look like something like this. So we know the two methods of finding theta. One is gradient descent method, right over here, and we found the theta, and we were using derivative at that point. And second was the normal equation, right, which we have already explained in the previous video, how we came up with this formula, right? So we had two methods, and most of the time you will see this method being properly used, gradient descent method, because a lot of algorithm has built upon this, and it does perform better than this previous one when the data set is very large. So this is the best. So I will suggest learn this much like in a very priority wise.